Here are gonna be 3 NFT projects that have massive potential for growth for 2022 that you can actually get on a budget. And you wanna make sure you get in quick, because by just buying one of these projects, you can actually start making passive income today. Now, the first project that we're gonna be talking about is going to be FoxFam. Now, they came out a couple months ago, and when they first came out, they came out with this 2D kind of drawings, right? So it's picture profile avatar project, similar to what you've seen before. They got great art. So when this project first came out, there's a lot of hype for it. A lot of flippers started to buy it, and then a lot of people started to sell it. So the price really went down to like 0.15 ETH. What actually revived it in the last week was that on their Twitter page, they actually announced that they're doing a 3D version of their Fox. Originally, it was just a 2D project, and that was what it was. And then now they're implementing 3D, and they're gonna try to include this into different metaverses that you can take to different spaces, like maybe Decentraland and whatever else becomes popular in the future. Why this project recently, decided to pump was because when you actually look at the 3D art, it's actually one of the best when it comes to a picture profile standard. I'm sure all the other picture profiles are going to have to elevate their 3D projects because of this, but just looking at the detail, you can see the details on the fur, the eyes, the clothes, even the shoes has a lot of detail in it. So there's a lot of work that went into the art. When we look at the team, who's the team actually behind this, they're actually a studio called Yum Yum Studios in London. So they have over 10 years of experience working with commercial clients. So it's not like a random person decided to make an NFT. It's like a legit 3D animation studio with 10 years of experience decided to get into the space. And if you look at some of the clients that they work with, 3M, Adobe, KFC, MTV, Lyft. So they have a lot of clients under their belt, a lot of experience, and the work kind of shows for itself, right? Like, it's actually high quality work from the 3D avatars that they're going to create and the 2Ds. So if you look at the price of FoxFam, of what's been going on in the last 90 days, right? In the beginning, or when they first came out, I remember they pumped to 0.4 ETH, and then they kind of died off, where everything was dying off in December because there was a mini bear, right? What they were really smart about was at the end of the year of 2021, they released the 3D model, and they're gonna say like, oh, we're gonna have this for all our holders. In January, everything started to pump again, and so the price of FoxFam actually went up to an average of 0.5, or now it's like 0.4. The reason the price is going up so much is because by owning a 2D version of the Fox, it's gonna allow you to get whitelisted to mint the 3D version. So it's not like you're getting a free 3D NFT, it's like you're only getting the opportunity to buy it, but because the art is already so good and a lot of people support this project, well, most likely that if you do get the 3D version, you could probably flip it right away for a profit, or you can hold on to it, wait and see how it goes, and then sell it in the future, hopefully for a higher price. Now, if you go on the website, they did redesign their website, and it's just like this 3D avatar, which is, basically the hero of their project, but there's not much information about it, so you have to go on Discord. So what I like to do is I like to go on a project's Discord, and all you really have to do if you want to do this for yourself is go into their announcements. That's where they're really releasing all the details, may or may not be on their website. And the main thing here that really tells the narrative of the story is really what things are they going to release over the next quarter or the next year that will potentially increase the price of this project. At the end of the day, this project doesn't generate any real revenue from like a game or anything like that. It's more speculation. It's more like you're angel investing or startup investing. A lot of times you have to trade on narrative, meaning what's gonna be coming out. So 3D collection is gonna be super hype, right? Again, you have to own the 2D version to get whitelisted, and so that's why the 2D FoxFam NFTs are going up, and I'm sure they're gonna go up a lot more right the day before you can mint the 3Ds. New branded website, we just looked at that. They're gonna have merchandise, which is not, I wouldn't say super valuable, to be honest, because anybody can do merch, right? Token, which is quite interesting. So if you're someone that's really interested in like passive income and getting a token that you can exchange into ETH, or buy things in a game, that might be something you might be interested in. They're gonna create a game and more collaborations. And what's really unique is that this project, or these founders, are already like 10 years deep into the industry, right? Working with like MTV and like these kind of giants. So I'm pretty confident that they're gonna be able to find collaborators who are very big in their space and find ways to develop new NFTs or new collections within the FoxFam ecosystem using these collaborators, which increases the value of the entire ecosystem. So overall, I like the project, I like the art, the team's pretty solid, and I personally bought just one FoxFam myself. So if you're interested in that, check it out. All right, so the next project we're gonna be talking about is going to be Galactic Apes. If you kind of look at the art and the inspiration, you can tell that they got a lot of inspiration from the movie Planet of the Apes, right? Where in a parallel world where monkeys and apes build civilization and stuff. There definitely is a niche audience for this. Like, how big is that niche? I don't know, but Planet of the Apes is a pretty big movie, so I guess a lot of people would be interested in that. It's 2D pixel art. Just for me, like observing the art, it is better. It's not Fiverr art. It's not like Upwork art. It's actually like a real artist designing this just from the aesthetics of it. So what I appreciate about this project is that they actually don't do much marketing. I haven't really seen them do any paid promotions. It's more like all organic, all word of mouth. And when they first came out, they minted out basically like instantly, and then the price went up to 1 ETH, then it went to like 2 ETH. I remember I did buy one at the time, and I flipped it for a little bit of a profit because everything kind of went down during December. The price went down to like, 0.49. But what's really special about this project is that they've been able to kind of keep a consistent price by just building silently. They're not promoting themselves out there. They're not saying like, hey, we're gonna do a giveaway. They're just building, and all the money that they made from, let's say, the mint, they're reinvesting it back into their project to actually build something valuable, right? And what are they building actually? You can see they're doing collaborations with Coolcat, and Coolcat, I own Coolcat, and it's one of the hottest projects right now, so that's really good. But the thing I really appreciate a lot is how the founders kind of communicate what they're working on, right? So essentially, when the project came out, it's like they're not really doing much marketing, but they're spending all their time building because they want to build something that can last a long time. And they want to do things like build a game mechanic, they want to have tokens, but it gets really complicated, right? Because, Ethereum's very expensive to buy and sell stuff, I'm sure, as you know. So you have to find different solutions to make it cheap for the consumer. And to do that, it's a lot of technicality of using layer 1, layer 2, and we don't have to go into that, but it's not easy, right? And there's no like playbook to copy right now because everything is so new. For me, I appreciate them because they're honest with their intention. They're building for the long term. They're not trying to show you their project and like pump and dump you. They're just building quietly. They're trying to make the best experience possible for the end user. They will do this even if it takes long, even if the price like plummets, they're still gonna build because that's what they wanna do, and I really respect that. If you're thinking about buying into this project, here's what I would be thinking about enter and exit strategy. So price right now is 0.49, right? And I highly recommend you get the Galactic Apes. They're gonna have different stuff, like they're gonna have the monkeys, and then they have the Genesis. Genesis probably out of the price range for most people, so probably buy the ape, not the monkeys, because there's less utility on the monkeys, maybe more in the future. So the price right now has just been dropping, and that's totally fine, right? Because it was at 2 ETH, which is kind of too much, in my opinion, for something that just came out. Reasonably, it's at like 0.3 to 0.4, 0.5. Doing a little research, what they're gonna do is they're gonna keep building the game. They're gonna build like an on-chain game on Ethereum. They're gonna build tokens. After they build those things, they're gonna start doing real marketing, probably collaborating with people, maybe paying people to do influencer marketing, and that's where the price is gonna pump up. But they're only going to do that, and I got this off from their Discord, it's public information, when they finish building what they need to build in order to create the narrative to increase the price. So right now, because there isn't much of a narrative, this is probably a cheap price to enter, but once they start doing marketing and they finish building what they want to build, well, the price most likely will pump from there. And again, do your own research, but that's a strategy that I would take. And it might take longer than you might want. This is not a quick, I'm gonna double my money in 1 week, but if you know how to invest in a project and you invest in a team that builds for the long term, then you probably can be successful at it. Now, the next project we're gonna be looking at is Axie Infinity. What Axie Infinity has recently launched is a token called RON. And RON is essentially a token that they're gonna use for the entire ecosystem. So if you think about it like this, Axie Infinity is a very successful game. It is the most successful NFT game, but the company that makes it, which is Sky Mavis, right, which is a company based in Vietnam actually, they're gonna be making a ton of other games in the future, and they're gonna probably invest in other companies to build these games. So if you think about, let's say like a Nintendo, they're gonna have like Mario, Donkey Kong, and they're gonna have all these different IPs. Sky Mavis is also going to create multiple IPs that are not just under Axie Infinity, but under their entire umbrella. And the token that they're gonna use for this ecosystem is gonna be RON. So right now, in order to get RON, you have to farm it. And this is called yield farming if you're not super familiar with it. Now, when you're yield farming, all you're really doing is you're going on the website of Axie Infinity and you're going onto their Ronin Chain wallet. I know it's getting a little complicated, but just stick with me here. Basically, all you gotta do is buy Axies, AXS, or you can buy SLP, and then you stake it. So you buy these tokens, you lock them up, and then every day you earn a little bit of RON depending on how much money you put in. And so essentially it's like passive income. I wouldn't call it passive income. It's really just yield farming of this token that probably will be valuable in the future. This isn't necessarily an NFT play, but it's a token that relates to NFT 100%. So by just buying some AXS or SLP, you can stake it and earn RON over time. And personally for me, I put in quite a bit of money into this, and really you're just like earning RON over time. And then after months or whenever you want to take it out, you take it out, and then there's going to be some value in it. And whether you want to hold it or sell it right away, it's up to you. But if you believe in Axie Infinity and the team that created it, and you believe that they have a very bright future in creating more games with their billions of dollars in the bank, then this might be an opportunity for you. And best of all, it's not like an expensive NFT that you have to spend thousands. You can literally put in like $10 or $50 and then farm that RON and start earning a percentage on your money, right? So there's many different ways to play the game. You don't have to buy expensive NFTs. There are ways to be involved in NFTs without even buying NFTs, and that's with tokens and yield farming. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.